Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Admissions Live, the weekly web show for college admissions professionals. We're part of the Higher Ed Live network, where we're dedicated to digital development and professional empowerment. We've got Joanne, Augustine, and Shanna Pomager on tonight's show, and we're talking about the 68th Annual Conference of the National Association of College Admission Counseling. Joanne and Shanna are co-chairs of the Local Arrangements Committee, and they've got the inside scoop on what's going on in Denver this week. I'm really excited to hear from them. We're going to hear a lot of things that we haven't heard so far from NACAC, and I want to get right to the show, but you know I can't do that without giving huge thanks to the sponsors that make Admissions Live possible. Admissions Live is sponsored by Welcome to College, who believe it's all in the campus visit and have created web and mobile applications to help institutions measure and manage their most critical recruitment tool, the college visit. The Welcome to College team will be assembling at NACAC, and they're absolutely fantastic people. You can stop by their booth. It's number 1133, and tell Justin that Admissions Live sent you. Admissions Live is sponsored by Zinch. Zinch is a service of Chegg that hooks up students with best fit schools and scholarships. Swing by booth 407 at NACAC to pick up some awesome swag and learn about how Zinch can help you find, attract, and enroll students at your institution. If you're not visiting NACAC, you can email outreach@zinch.com or tweet @socialadmission for a free consultation. Admissions Live is sponsored by Integral, the creators of the Schools app on Facebook. Integral will be co-hosting a happy hour tweet up with yours truly on Thursday night. We just sent out a tweet to that with a link to that tweet up. Also, huge thanks go to Integral Inc. for sponsoring live blogging from the conference. Nicole Lentini, Chris Dorso, and myself will be delivering content nonstop during the 3-day conference thanks to Integral's support. And last but not least, Admissions Live is sponsored by Scavenger, a Google-funded mobile game about going places, doing challenges, and earning points. Are you headed to the conference tomorrow? Don't miss out on playing Scavenger U. Play and compete to win prizes, and we sent out a link with more information about that. All right, it's time to get to our show. Again, I have Joanne Augustine. She's the Director of College Counseling at Arupe Jesuit High School. And I have Shanna Pomager, and she is the Senior Associate Director and Campus Visit Coordinator at the University of Denver. So I'm going to bring them on camera so they can say hello. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
And they're tuning in from downtown Denver.
Yes.
Yes, very excited to be there tomorrow. I have a very early flight, but I'm avoiding the crazy debate traffic.
Good luck.
Yeah, well, so we got an email saying that the evening was going to be the worst. Are you already seeing madness there today?
Well, especially on the DU campus for about a week, they've been putting up fences all over campus. The students have been abuzz for sure. The Secret Service people have been walking around asking you what is your business doing in this building. Wow. The university is definitely. We like to think it's because NACAC is in town, but it's probably more because Obama and Mitt are actually going to be there. So, but other than that, I mean, I think the rest of the city is prepared. So we're looking forward to an exciting week in Denver.
Yeah, I am too, and I'm really not familiar with Denver at all. So in proximity to where we're going to be coming in and checking into our hotels and things, is Denver in close proximity to the city, or is it outside of the city?
So the airport is about 45 minutes east of downtown. Okay. So it does. The airport, and you can come to the city either from the north side and the south side. And just for anybody that is coming, we warn you probably not to come from the south side, to come up through the north side, because if you come up to the south side, you will hit that I-25 closure, because the University of Denver is 15 minutes south of downtown. Okay. So it is highly recommended you come more from the north end, even if your flight is going to be coming in early, just because I think there are going to be some preparations, and they don't always tell you everything in order to keep some of that secrecy for security reasons.
Sure. Well, let's do some proper introductions since I kind of got a little ahead of myself. I'm very excited. Do you want to just tell folks, I'll bring you up on camera, who's who and a little bit about how you got involved in the conference?
Yeah, great. I'm Joanne Augustine. I'm the Director of College Counseling at Arupe Jesuit High School. And I've been, we figured it out today, part of this association for 23 years. So it makes me feel a little old. But Shanna and I are both part of the NACAC board at one point, and I was also a delegate and then the treasurer. And then at one meeting, Shanna asked me if this was something I'd consider doing, and I'm like, well, maybe. So together we decided to do this little venture.
Yeah. So. And I'm obviously with the University of Denver, and I've been in admissions for about 13 years, and I've been a NACAC member for the full 13 years, but also gotten involved with on the state level and then with RMACAC on the regional level. So really the ultimate trifecta was to get involved on the national level. You just kind of like college, you just keep getting more and more involved until finally you find yourself co-chairing the local arrangements committee for the national convention. But we've been excited to we've known that NACAC was going to be in Denver for a lot of years. So as a regional organization, we have been saving money and trying to plan how many counselors and college professionals were going to be in Denver. So we committed to this about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And so the preparations have been happening ever since.
Great.
And we're very excited. This is going to be the largest conference they've had in the history of the association.
Wow. What are some numbers?
The last number is
5,800 something.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So they're thinking maybe 6,000 with on-site registrations.
Yeah.
Wow.
So even not that I'm from Louisiana, but it'll be larger than New Orleans.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, that's a small college in itself right there. That's incredible. Well, we're certainly really excited to be attending, and I just want to kind of go over some things for folks who can't attend first. And I know we have a lot of viewers that are young professionals and maybe weren't on the list to make to go to the national conference, but there's a lot of things that NACAC is doing to provide kind of a back channel for those people to follow along with this year. So I'm going to send out a few tweets with the official conference hashtags and some of the official Twitter handles that they can follow along on. And then there's also going to be live streams offered this year for the keynote. The keynote presenter is free. Everyone should check her out. And then a few other sessions are going to be live streamed for a fee with a discount to NACAC members. So I'm going to send those out. But what I'm really curious about, picking your brains about what we can expect when we arrive in Denver. And other than crazy traffic, what's the city like right now? What's the weather like? What's going on?
Yeah, it's too bad that you're actually here today.
Right.
Oh, no.
It's gorgeous. These next couple of days, I know it's probably been about mid-80s, between the 70s and 80s is pretty typical, although typical of October is there's a front coming in through Canada, and it's supposed to chill off pretty quickly. And Joanne and I have been discussing all day on whether we think it's actually possibly going to see some flakes in the city on Thursday morning. But it should warm up still. We're expecting it to be around the mid-50s. So it's going to be chillier than it's been through the rest of the year. But typical Colorado weather, just bring layers and sweaters. And it's going to be cold in the convention center anyway.
Yes, but bring sunscreen because the sun is always out. Even if it's cooler, it's typically bright. So it's really pretty. Blue skies.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to see from downtown the foothills, and you'll see the mountains from there. It's very pretty.
And we are in the middle of the aspens changing, so the peak was right probably about last week, but the mountains are gorgeous still right now, so people have time, and if they have a car, there are some really easy trips that you can go and check out the aspens turning and just see the beautiful gold on the Rocky Mountains.
Great. That is very good to hear. So we're going to layer up, but not necessarily going to need hats and gloves, or should we pack those too?
Pack those too.
All right. Good to know. I'm in Rochester, so cold weather is not foreign to me, but I have not gotten out the hats and gloves yet, and I will. Any other kinds of packing tips for folks that are coming? I know we're bringing our own bags this year. Are there any other things that we want to be sure to bring?
The Coast Guard was kind enough to provide water bottles again this year, and that's going to be something really important, especially in our higher altitude, is to make sure that you stay hydrated. I think just comfortable shoes, because everything is spread out. We have lots of room out here in the West to be able to spread out, so there is quite a bit of walking, especially if you want to use the light rail and experience the city a little bit, maybe even visit a couple of the schools in the Denver area, or even just all over Colorado. Colorado Springs is only an hour south of Denver. Boulder is only about 45 minutes. Fort Collins, Golden. So there are a lot of great neighborhoods, not necessarily just Denver, although there's lots to see here in the city as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that. And I've seen the conference schedule. I've been invited to things for folks on every single break that we have. There's something else going on. But if we are going to sneak away in the city, what are some of the Denver things to do? I am definitely going to try to put my tourist hat on at some point if I can break away, but I'm really not familiar with the city at all. So what are some things that people come to Denver to do?
Well, we're not necessarily just good steaks and some beer, although that is definitely what some of what we are known for. Especially some of the breweries here. For example, one of my favorites is Wine Coop, which was owned by our current governor, also used to be our mayor, and the Wine Coop has some great breweries, beers that you can try, but there's the Denver Brewery as well, which is right next to REI, which is the flagship, is here in Denver. So you definitely need to try out some of the microbrews while you're here.
And actually, the beer fest will be in town starting on Friday.
I caught that, and I'm surprised I haven't heard more conversation about that.
I know the tickets sold. I believe they sold in 5 or 10 minutes this year, which is a record.
Wow.
I have volunteered before. It is a great time. Alas, there will not be any crossover between us and the beer fest this year.
Definitely going to head out to some breweries, and I'm sure there'll be all sorts of great festivities going on. We've heard a lot from the folks at NACAC who've been planning in Arlington about some of the great educational sessions that are going on. I'm really excited for the keynote speaker this year. I think she's going to be a lot of fun. But I know you have the inside scoop on some of the social activities. So what can you spill the beans on?
About the social?
Yeah. So we have Thursday night, the opening reception is going to be in the exhibit hall, so that'll be nice for everyone to be able to mingle and see who's on the exhibit floor. But we're very excited for our closing reception to be at what we call the DAM, the Denver Art Museum, and it opened 5 years ago?
A little bit more than that.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful art museum, so we're going to be able to tour the entire art museum. So people are going to be very happy, I think, to go there. And if it's a beautiful day, they have sections where they can go outside, and it's really nice. We're very excited for that one.
Yeah, and the dam also has... it's within walking distance of the convention center, although it is fairly long walking distance, and of course NACAC's going to have buses that will be bringing people to and from, but Scavenger will have one of the activities will be, we took pictures throughout the dam, and there will be a scavenger hunt of all the several different art pieces throughout the entire museum, so that way it really will get people to interact with the artwork and not just talk about it, and not just be around where the karaoke is going to be, because we're going to have all this as well. But then we'll actually be able to see some of our history, because there's some great Western history here, and some great artwork because of that. And so that's all highlighted in the dam.
Great. And just across the street is the Colorado History Museum, and I believe the National Association of Catholic Colleges is having a huge reception there. So, but those are two nice museums if people want to go to them.
Great. Yeah, I am an art lover, so I'm really excited to hear that. And also that Scavenger is getting involved, because playing Scavenger is a lot of fun. And I think people will get into it, especially when it's part of the social and part of the location that we're going to be in. So hopefully we get a lot of people doing that and playing along, because it can be really interactive and fun. That's really exciting to hear. And so some other things that I'm curious about in terms of the hospitality on the ground. You said that you are providing water. Are there other things that we can expect? I saw packing a lot of pad folios yesterday. What else?
Wish you were all there to help us.
Yeah. What else is in store for us when we arrive and come in throughout the conference? I'm sure the exhibit hall will be full of swag, but are there other things that we're going to be getting, or things that maybe we need to pack ourselves?
Well, definitely I think the key change this year is going to be no bags. So you do need to bring your own bag, although you will get a portfolio to be able to take notes. Also, a difference is that the NACAC app, you will receive the actual schedule in your portfolio, a hard copy. But the NACAC app is really easy to use, because you can create your own schedule. You can select which sessions you actually want to go to ahead of time, and then put it into your own agenda, so that way you're not trying to scroll through and remember exactly which session it was you wanted to go to. So there'll be information about also local restaurants in the area that the hospitality committee has narrowed down, and it's been a difficult to narrow down. We aren't, Denver isn't necessarily known for our history of restaurants and culinary scene, but we've got some great new chefs that are here and have really changed, I think, the restaurant scene for any foodies that are out there. Yep. And you can find some great gems, and the hospitality committee has definitely put together a list of some of the ones that they knew about. But talk to anybody that may be volunteering that's from the Denver metro or just Colorado area, because we all have our favorites. We definitely all have our favorites.
I know that I have reservations at the Squeaky Bean on Friday.
Wonderful.
Is that gonna be good?
Stera Marco, the corner office, there's some great ones out there that you can take advantage of.
Great. I'm excited. So I want to make sure that I squeeze all of your best insights out of you before we sign off. Words to the wise for attendees. If you were coming to Denver and not knowing what you were getting yourself into, much like myself, I've never been to a national conference and I've never been to Denver. If you had to provide us with, one piece of advice to get through this week and make it successful, what would your tips for attendees be?
I have several, actually.
Okay, great.
Especially if you are a new attendee to the conference. I remember my first conference was very overwhelming, actually, because you're trying to get used to a new city. You're trying to get used to how a conference is set up in general, and just feeling like it was so much bigger than what my pay rate was at my institution, being a new professional. But it doesn't matter. Like when you go to the exhibit hall and when you're talking to people, they don't necessarily expect you to have the authority to say, yes, of course we want to use your product, but they still want to be able to talk to you. We've been on the other side of those tables, and we know what it's like to have people stare at you awkwardly. And so don't feel guilty about going up and talking to people, even if you just want that Starburst or if you want that extra pen and chapstick. So take advantage of the exhibit hall. That's also where all the snacks are going to be, and the sodas and the coffee. So they do try to make it very friendly. They also have a new menu this year for the learning lounges, and this is something new that they're trying. So a topic that is not necessarily meant for an hour and a half necessarily, but is still important. And so we have these new learning lounges that are also going to be there for right by the exhibit hall. I love the college fair for counselors, where the
counselors should bring their business cards. Don't forget those, like I did.
Yeah.
So they should bring. And I think counselors really need to use this, and everyone use it as a networking conference. So a lot of things happen outside of the actual sessions. So a lot of the networking, you're going to be just talking to random people, and it just will make it feel so much smaller once you start meeting different people.
Right, yeah, and I think that is the most important piece. And Denver is a very friendly space, and you can really get to know, and it's a very safe and beautiful city, and so we just want people to be able to take advantage of what we have to offer. Yeah,
absolutely.
Great. Well, those are great tips. I'm sure it's going to be overwhelming. I think anything would be overwhelming with almost 6,000 people that don't know each other convening in one space. So I hope that I do get to see you. I'll try to track you down and say thank you in person for coming on tonight. And I am going to try to get this show up immediately so we can share with folks before they make it to Denver.
Great. One last thing that they do have that is new this year is a road race, a 5K road race, and the money goes to the scholarship, the Imagine Fund.
Yeah, and we already have about 350, 400 people, and you end in very traditional Colorado, Denver style by drinking beer.
All right.
So you don't have to feel guilty about drinking the beer because you just ran a 5K.
Yes, and for me, I think it might be a 5K walk, especially at the altitude. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to make that, but sounds like a really great event. And it sounds even better now that we're drinking beer at the end.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much for taking time out. I'm sure you have to get back to work.
Yes, yes, we do.
Keep hustling over there in Denver, and I will be in tomorrow afternoon, so hope to connect with you guys soon.
Seeing you.
All right. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, I'm signing off, and I am heading out to Denver next week. I'm heading out to Denver tomorrow, bright and early. So I hope you stay tuned to all of our conference coverage. We will be doing live blog posts. Expect posts about great sessions, interviews from attendees and speakers, and we'll hopefully be back here next Tuesday night doing a recap show. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you on higheredlive.com.